we are. Now we're on. It's on like Donkey Kong. Do.
Got it here. Okay, here we go.
Here we are.
Here we are. Here we go.
Boopy-doopy-doopy-doo.
Let it go. Let it go.
Boop-boopy-doo. Are you okay? Grim, are you alright?
I'm putting out a little bit for the show.
Oh, you're pretending.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. Some of it was real.
Oh, that hand fell right out of the TV.
The popcorn holes, you know, they get in your throat and they cause havoc.
Hey guys, remember to hit the like button.
Yeah. Can you lend me a hand?
Yeah. Lend me your
No
hands.
one's ever made that joke ever before.
And hit the like button.
That's what she said. Oh! Now it's getting mad.
What does that mean?
I know.
Hey guys, there's John Biggins, Albert, Connie Cleary, Jennifer Delaney,
Yeah.
Ricky Bobby, Raymond Trianovich, and Mark Hodges.
Woo.
Nice. The night owls are here.
Hoo, you.
They're creeping into the chat.
I love it. My people.
I had to take the mummy jacket off. I was getting warm. Last week when we were doing the show, I was freezing cold. And now I'm like, it feels like summertime in here again.
So, speaking of that, this has nothing to do with horror movies, but it's one of those weird things. Like in the original Karate Kid movie with Ralph Macchio, they did a thing where, you know, Daniel-san waxed on and waxed off. Really?
Yes.
For real. I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of wacky. Even if they didn't intend for it to sound like that, like wax on, wax off. You know, Beavis and Butthead. Insert Beavis and Butthead laugh. So fast forward to whenever they remade it with Will Smurf and his kid, or with Will Smurf's kid, Jaden. So they didn't do wax on, wax off. Do you remember what they did?
I do.
You want to say it?
No.
You just said it though.
Yeah, but
So they, instead of the car thing, they had him take his jacket off. So it was a jacket on, jacket off.
oh, that sounds terrible.
Now I'm thinking,
on.
you know, come on, wait. Now like, that was brilliant, actually. If you ask me, I didn't like the movie. I don't like remakes. I don't like a lot of remakes. About 99.9% of remakes, I'm not really cool with. But that one, I think, if they were going for that funny sort of, you know, Beavis and Butthead, perfect.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I should look that up. I wonder if I'm sure someone's had to have explained that. Like,
There's a lot of comments.
that's fine.
Juliet says
Jack it off. Whack it off.
She's
Jack
been
it on,
busy performing and hasn't been watching much. Oh, that's okay, Juliet.
Who?
Juliet Shakespeare.
Yeah, we saw. She's been doing a lot of shows.
You've been doing a lot of shows. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. This is a season for all kinds of like
Halloween
and benefits
and holidays
and fundraisers.
Yeah.
Things like that. Whatever they're doing.
So we're glad that you're doing good, and that's fun. That's really cool. And you can always go back and watch our videos later.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
but
so that's
Juliet,
okay.
You know, you're cool. You know, we know
It's all
you're
good.
out there.
Mark Hodges, thank you for the super chat, $5. He says, loved the movie. Loved the movie. Thanks.
Yeah, you know what? As far as Bela Lugosi movies go, and then movies from the Skid Row era, or whatever you call Poverty Row movies.
Yeah, the Poverty Row movies.
Not a bad movie.
Yeah.
A ridiculous premise.
It's so goofy, but a cool
like,
idea.
To me, the more interesting story is the actual. See, and I wonder if anyone's done a movie about that. Like, there, even if you have to kind of make it up and read it, there has to be there's got to be some people alive from that time still that could tell you what happened behind the scenes. Like,
from 1940?
Could be.
No, they're all gone.
Jeez, oh man, I would like to think that someone.
Everyone in the Devil Bat's long gone.
Yeah, but Bela Lugosi's son's still alive, right? He goes to different.
His son
conventions.
is still alive.
He might know some stories. I'm hoping. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe he did hear some stories.
Could be over 100 years old.
But you have to think his son's probably old now too.
Very old. But has anyone documented any of that? Are there any stories? Is there anything out there that said? So a guy walks in a guy's office and he puts a script down about a dude that is a begrudged guy who was a chemist who was mad at a company that where he made the mistake, and he takes revenge on them by growing giant back. Like, how do you pitch that? Who is sober and says, here's the money for it, even if it's $10 to make the movie? Well,
here's the thing. PRC, and I read about it when I was researching stuff for the Snack Twigs segment. PRC was making horror films in the late 1930s when the big Hollywood companies weren't. So they were kind of filling that void, making these goofy movies about devil bats
But they could, but
and zombies and things like that.
they had right. But still, there is a story there, right?
Yeah.
So was there a need for these movies? I don't know.
Yeah, there must have been apparently.
Oh my God!
And you have to think, in 1940, maybe that was an actual legit scary movie.
The only movie I can think
I
that's
mean, maybe
close...
the suspension of disbelief was way,
Oh,
like maybe those were state-of-the-art graphics and effects then.
I'm in such love with those movies because of the sort of... I don't know how to explain it. It's to me, it's one of those weird little mysteries. The closest movie I've seen come to that was Ed Wood. That kind of explained a little bit of the behind the scenes of the madness, like what went down. You got to see. I mean, they showed Bela Lugosi's character, played by Martin Landau, being on the skids, needing anything he can get, bitter as hell at Karloff.
Well, if you really wanted to research some of these, I'm sure back in the day they probably had some interviews and some articles in magazines.
I think
so. If you looked up like old magazines or maybe some books from that time,
probably giving a good idea away. But there has got to, because these people had lives, right? They had to go home and go. The wife or the mom or someone said, "What are you doing? Where were you all day?
Making a devil bat movie.
I'm working on." And what did that conversation go? Like, "Oh, you're an idiot," or "Tell me about it,"
or maybe they were
pass
proud.
me the bottle, or time me off.
They're working in motion pictures,
Yeah, but what were they?
It could have been something they were proud of.
It's a gig, if they had that word back then.
It's a living.
It's a living. It's fascinating to me. Yes, it definitely was a gig for them. It was something, they got paid something. But they had to go home, they had to talk to someone about it.
Right.
So putting together a production, ours is a two-person production, right? A Mummy and the Monkey production.
Oh, here's a good comment. Mark Powers, I think the need existed because people didn't have TV.
Well, it did.
Right. In 1940, people didn't have TV in their living rooms. Well, they needed something wacky to see on the big screen.
Here's a big spoiler.
And a devil bat movie, I guess, did the trick.
Here's a big spoiler, everybody. Movie studios or companies, they have a bottom line, and that's why you see a lot of garbage even to this day come out. They have to make money, so they will, and that's why they tend to do things that are derivative and are safe. They'll go, well, this TV show or this movie's performing well, we'll just do that, but our own version of it. That's why they do that, because they want to. It's a business. It's not like,
Yeah, back then things were new and fresh.
No. Back then and now it's the same thing. They had a bottom line. They had to put something out, and they have to meet a certain, they have this budget that they have to spend on something. So it goes to different, projects, and hopefully they make money. But that's why a lot of these studios will play it safe and from what I'm hearing on the new Halloween movie, for example, it's someone compared to Riverdale, which I've never seen, but I understand what that show's about. It's based on the Archie comics.
There's some really good comments. So I'm going to put you on pause.
Yeah, that's fine.
There's a great article in the latest Scary Monsters magazine about Carl, I'm going to butcher this name, Lemille Jr. at Universal Studios, and how he had to fight to get Dracula and Frankenstein made.
Wow. Unbelievable.
And John Biggin says that's why they keep remaking movies. They're afraid to take a chance on a new idea.
Yes, because there was nothing like... Well, I mean, they did have, like, Edison's Frankenstein, but it was, that was sort of like...
The Thomas Edison films were actually really cool for their
weird.
time.
They were really weird.
They were... We've played... Well, I'm thinking we could play some in the future, but... There's a Frankenstein one and a couple other ones that are really interesting.
But who saw that stuff back then? And so when all these, in retrospect, it seems like genius that they did what they did, Universal with those monsters and everything. But there's such stories, I think, behind all of these. There's no story behind remaking a movie because we already know what they're basing it on. But
so they made Frankenstein when? In 1932? 33?
Mid to early 30s.
Early 1930s. It was like right after Dracula.
34.
So it's based off of the Mary Shelley book, and it's, a scientist digs up corpses and puts some body parts together to make a whole nother living being. So in 1930s and even in the 1800s when the book was written, that's really wacky for that time period. for the 1800s or the 1930s,
right.
to then later make a movie based
Well,
off
a movie's
of it.
based on a script, which is sometimes based on
Yeah.
obviously
Well, a lot
based
of
on a
movies
book.
then were based off of books.
Right. So
Yeah.
you imagine. I mean,
Well, they still are.
Right,
A lot of movies are still based off of
I
books.
see. If you close your eyes, but when you read a book, if you're really into reading, you get that's what's great. That's the magic of reading.
So to even get any of that made is like
you're basically watching a movie as you're reading a book. If you have reading comprehension and you know what you're doing,
yeah,
you get sucked in. It's like watching a movie. It's sometimes even better because you get your imagination gets to fill all that stuff in they're trying to explain, right? Right. So again, like you said, that Frankenstein,
because it was so unique
like
and controversial, and you have to think. I mean, there's you know, a lot of people of different faiths today. Imagine 100 years ago when that movie came out, and you know, that had some people probably viewed the original Frankenstein film as satanic or evil.
So has anyone done like a movie on Mary Shelley, like her, like when she would go home? I don't know who she cohabitated with or who she was.
There's info on her online.
Not an info. I'm talking about a movie, like because Mary Shelley had to do something and every day talk to someone and what are you doing? I'm writing a book about a man who's taking body parts out of the. What? I mean, what was? Because we all have everyday lives. Were they as uninteresting as ours are sometimes, or when that subject came up, what they're writing about, did people go, ugh, you know?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But she was definitely talented.
Well, we do a show called Living the Scream,
a podcast
about behind the scenes about what we do, in our daily lives as far as behind our reselling as resellers on eBay and then the Mummy and the Monkey show, in hopes that people think that's interesting, and that's what we're trying to do.
There's a bunch of comments.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think there was a Mary Shelley movie. Well, there was Mary Shelley's Frankenstein in the 90s, right?
I'm talking about based on her life.
I don't know if they made one based off of her life.
It's got to be interesting.
So
right?
Let's look that up at some point, because I don't want to continue talking about something we don't know. Well,
I don't know.
I mean, unless if I Google it right now.
I have not seen every movie ever made,
let me Google it right now. Why don't you Google it, Grim?
But let's
Google it, because you're going to keep.
I can't see.
Okay, so it's right here.
But there are people out there that might know
Google.
something. And you have your phone.
Oh, there's a lot here to look through.
Well, we have people here that can do it.
But anyway, let's continue on. Let's talk about movies we've seen recently. Can we change?
So what's in the comments? You said there's a lot of good stuff.
Well, there are, but okay.
Well, read it.
Juliet says Mary Shelley never recovered from the death of her child and was obsessed with death. She was inspired by a weekend with Lord Byron and Bram Stoker.
That's Stroker. That's a porno guy.
Yeah. I had to make sure.
Bram Stoker. That would be if I was an adult
inspired to write Dracula.
That would be my adult movie star name, Bram Stoker.
There was a 2017 movie, says Mark.
See, they know. Right. That's what I'm saying. Because this is an interactive. That's what I thought this forum was. So
I know, but I thought maybe I could just look it up real quick.
Or someone else out there
seemed more involved than
these are very knowledgeable people watching.
But yeah, thank goodness we can research things. Okay, Graham. Stop it with that. Stephen King books are all huge, 1,000 pages, says John Biggins. Yeah, so I like a lot of Stephen King's work, John. That's funny you say that. And I used to try to read his books, and there'll be like one whole chapter just describing like the room that the people are in, every single little detail. And it's like, even though it's great that he's detailed, like after a while I'm like, okay, enough about that. And then what happens?
Well, that's his style. And if you don't dig it, then find someone that I walked in a room and there was a vase on this.
Well, I really liked his son's books.
Yeah.
Heart-shaped box, and then there was another.
We never saw those movies though that came out.
No,
the one that came
I didn't. But I read the books, and I liked them.
I forget what's his name.
Joe Hill. Yep. He went by the pen name Joe Hill. Yep. Because he didn't want people at first to know that he was Stephen King's son.
Well, it could have been Burger King.
Written by Burger King.
Why not? That's what I would do.
That would have been funny. But yeah, Heart-Shaped Box was really good. It's about a like a rocker guy that
wasn't that a Nirvana song? Yeah.
There was one, but yeah, but in
rocker
this
guy?
well, in this one, it's about a guy who buys a ghost off of eBay, and it was sent to him in a heart-shaped box.
Right.
So
heart-shaped
it was like one of those candy boxes or something.
Halloween.
Okay. Best Stephen King book is Different Seasons. 4 stories, like 300 pages total.
Nope. Best Stephen King book
It's his favorite.
is Different Strokes. About a rich white guy that adopts a couple of kids from the inner city.
That's not.
He didn't write that?
No, Grim. That's a TV show.
Now the world don't move to the beat of just one drum.
Oh, gosh.
And his name was Drummond, which is funny.
Drummond.
May not be right for some.
So we were watching horror films on Tubi the other day. And
I'm sure everybody's familiar with Tubi. If you're not,
Tubi has so many great horror films
wacky,
you can
nutty,
watch for free.
all
Sci-fi
kinds of
films,
movies. I mean, it's like
old shows.
it's a rabbit hole of a
Yeah.
channel on Roku.
It's fun.
So we picked one. We had dinner. We got Chinese food. I'm going to do a Stephen King. That evening, we ordered Chinese food from our favorite Chinese takeaway place. I picked it up in the car that I drove many, many times. It has a black exterior with a black interior. One side is a dent, and I walked inside the Chinese restaurant in my Converse shoes.
Oh my!
And smelled we picked up some Chinese, and we sat down. We plopped down, take a break from the crazy days we have.
Yes.
And I said, find a movie. And Janet finds, but at first I went, find a, because I'm royalty.
No,
that didn't happen.
I said, let me find a movie.
If that happened, I'd be wearing the Chinese food. Anyway.
Because the one movie on YouTube we were going to watch wasn't working right. So we're
what did we pick? What was it?
I don't know. Oh, so there was a werewolf versus Yeti?
No, it was...
What was the werewolf Yeti one?
It was funnier that what did we pick that we didn't like? We turn it off.
No, it's not that we didn't like it. It wasn't working.
It was a YouTube movie.
It was a YouTube movie and it wasn't working.
A really cool werewolf movie that we might be able to show on our...
Well, I don't remember the name of it right now. But the video didn't look good.
We cut it off, switched to Tubi.
Yes.
Popcorn hole, sorry. And we found Werewolf versus the Yeti.
Werewolf versus Yeti starring Paul
Nachi.
I always want to say Nashi.
Nachi.
But the werewolf makeup looked pretty cool in it. For being a low-budget movie, I thought some of the effects looked cool.
If anyone is familiar with the Paul Nachi, it's the same Paul Nachi werewolf, which is cool. It was a real slow burn. I didn't like it.
Well, some of the scenes were dragged out way too long.
Yeah.
But when you see him as, I like to say werewolf. When you see him as a werewolf.
Wolf. It's hot.
He looked cool. I thought he looked cool.
He's a hot werewolf.
But, I think he was pretty hairy anyway. So it kind of worked out good for him. Yeah. He could have passed as a Lakewood hipster.
What you need to do, you need to have a werewolf movie, meet a James Bond villain.
Are you okay? Drink some water or something. Stop it.
I'm forcing
it.
That hull is working the back of my throat.
Go get some water, Grim. Go have a good cough.
There's water in this. I'm good.
Okay.
But if like the werewolf meets a James Bond villain, who instead of a pool with a shark in it, has just a pool of nair. And he pushes the werewolf in the nair. He'd be a nair wolf.
A nair wolf. Oh no! He'd be a naked werewolf.
Oh. But that movie I didn't like so much. It was a lot of padding of people running around and hiking through the mountains, which I hate. But when he stumbles, that movie was interesting. The cool parts, if you could edit that movie down to a half an hour, it'd be a solid movie. So for whatever reason, they go to the mountains to find somebody. The Sherpa disappears. Paul Nachi is on his own. He stumbles into a cave.
So there were some researchers there looking for a Yeti.
Oh, that's right.
Paul ends up
pictures of it.
He ends up getting bit by a werewolf.
Whoa! You totally went. So he stumbles. Well, Paul Nachi goes look for this thing. He gets the Sherpa. The guide disappears. So he's stranded for days. He finds a cave. And of course, there's 2 hot chicks in the cave, right?
And it ends
half-naked women.
It ends up being like a temple.
They take him in.
Shrine.
He gets down with them, and then he stumbles into. After they're done, he's like, "Okay, that was great." He gets up to get a cup of water or whatever, and he sees these 2 women that he just made it with eating human body parts. Yeah. You glossed over all of that.
I know. I was kind of skipping over stuff.
Why? This is the good part.
Well, because I wanted to talk about the other movie too.
We're gonna get to it.
Because I don't want to like.
Why are you in such a rush? Chill. This is the Hangover.
Okay.
So, these women are eating these body parts, and now he's grossed out. Not that he just had relations with two women he never knew before. I don't know what it's got some kind of cave stuff. He doesn't know what they got going on in there.
They could have cave herbs.
Cave herbs.
Yeah.
There you go. I like that. That was fun. Yeah. And so you got the cave herbs now, and he sees them eating an arm and a leg. And it was funny. That scene was funny because he just sees them eating this arm and leg, and they get up to run away, and they pick up every single piece on the ground and then run away. It's like,
well, they don't want to miss any bites.
But why do they move?
I don't know why they were running away. They could have just sat there and finished eating.
So he follows them, and somehow he figures out how to kill one of them. There's a silver arrow in the cave, so he stabs one. But the one that jumps at him, he doesn't hold the arrow out. He just lets her bite him, and that's how he turns it. Because
one of those cave wenches
I guess
bites
they're
him.
werewomen.
And I guess they're werewolf women.
Because they were half werewolf woman, half not werewolf.
Wild werewolf women.
It would need a lot of nair. But so now he's a wolf, a werewolf. Great. So he gets out, and of course, did he fight the Yeti? I kind of fell asleep on that one. He fought the Yeti, right?
He did kill the Yeti.
Yeah, I don't know. But
no, yeah. So he killed. No, I'm trying. Give me a sec.
Uh-huh.
He killed the Yeti, but then
he was still damned.
But then at the end,
woman he loved.
He was still a werewolf, and the woman he loved and rescued was there. But she has to.
She found out from some other magical guru that was in the mountains.
She
how to cure him.
lifted the curse.
Yeah.
She lifted the werewolf curse from some magical flower thing, and then she cuts her hand open and mixes the flower with her blood, and then she's all like, "Here, eat my blood and this weird flower."
Right, and then you'll be okay.
And then you'll be okay,
and
right?
It was, and that was the end.
I guess it was some weird mountain, nature magic, and then he was okay, and then they lived happily ever after.
And then the devil bat killed them all.
And then the devil bat killed him. The end.
So after that goes off, you know how these. If you stay on a channel, just rolling to the next movie. Well,
so then I just rolled into some random movie, and we're like, okay, what movie's this?
Because it sounded so weird, and I had a lot of questions. But it was called Curse of the Lorelei.
Curse of the Lorelei, which is a very strange 1970s movie.
Never heard of this. Another dubbed, probably Italian movie.
I think it might be Italian. Never saw it before. Some of the characters are interesting. The monster looked really cool.
Basically, it was this woman who lived in the bottom of a lake, underneath in a grotto, like a cavern, that was hidden underneath the lake.
It was like a hidden lake cave, and there was treasure.
She's guarding a treasure, but every so many 100 years she comes out when the moon's just right. And there's a guy who looks like Dave Grohl with blind guy glasses on, with the dark glasses, plays a violin, who knows the whole story. Because it's always, passed down from generation. But so women are getting killed, and
she was ripping their hearts out and eating their hearts. And that's what kept her alive. It's what kept her immortal or something.
Yeah, for that period weird. She's out of the water and then killing. She turns into a giant, a giant chameleon.
And for being a 1970s movie,
it was really gory.
The one I had to turn away. I'm like, ugh.
Several times you had to turn.
Yeah, I'm like, ugh.
They showed actual ripping flesh, and then
they ripped it out of You
could see sternum, and you could see gizzards and insides.
There was a lot of gore in it.
A lot of gore. Yeah. But and of course, so what did I say?
I'm speaceless now. All of a sudden,
because it sounds like we're making this movie up, but it's a real movie. I think it's called Curse of... Now, the name Lorelei was the woman's name.
So that's the woman's name, and it's the monster's name. And it's this woman monster thing. She transforms. I guess during the day, she hangs out by the lake. And,
half naked.
She's this half-naked redhead woman.
Until a guy comes around. Then she runs away when the guy comes.
And then at night, she turns into this weird, reptilian monster thing.
So here's what the movie's really about. So this happens in some little European town, right?
Yes.
And they focus in on a girls' dormitory, of course.
Oh, and of course, where this monster is, there's a girls', all-girls school there.
And like you said, if they figured out this was going on, why don't they just put them all on a bus and go to the next town?
Yeah, why don't they just leave town?
This chick doesn't hang out. It doesn't make any sense.
If I heard there was a monster in my town where they were ripping out hearts, I'd be like, yeah, I'm getting the hell out of here.
We're next to what country? Let's just go to that country.
And she only hangs out in this area with the lake.
She doesn't venture out.
Okay, let's go to another town.
That's too easy.
Let's get out of here and wait till she's gone.
Bela Lugosi must be
Yeah.
running that school. He must be the dean of that school. No, it makes no sense.
Juliet says Lorelai was cool. Watched it today. It was Italian.
Right, Italian movie. Right? Was
it Italian? I think it was an Italian film.
I forget, but it's really interesting because the legend. That's actually a real legend too. I didn't know about that. But
yeah, I guess it's based off of some legend.
Yeah, really. But the name Lorelai just threw me off because it's like Curse of the Esther. Like, why? It's just Lorelai. That's a real girl name.
It's a real lady's name.
Curse of the Janet. She's a Janet. Like what?
Well, I could be a monster too.
Oh, that's true. I'll drink to that.
But yeah, it was all in all
strange movie, but
it was strange, but it was entertaining.
I like that better than
the one guy was so dumb in this movie. So he's supposed to protect
They hire some handsome guy like Engelbert Humperdinck with a rifle, right? This guy.
He's supposed to be like this suave dude, and they hire him to watch the school or whatever to protect the girls. And of course, all the girls are like flirting with him.
Not only the girls, but the Lorelai. That's who he's hot after.
And then he's hot after the monster. He ends up like wanting to get it on with the Lorelai.
Yeah, he's tonguing her down, and then some guy comes out of nowhere and says, "You have to go now. You have to leave her alone."
Yeah, like where'd that other guy come from?
He was her guardian for.
The whole thing was really weird.
But it's beautiful European cinema, horror cinema. Their take on stuff. It's like if you read the heavy metal comics, right? The magazines, heavy metal magazines that were out, and I don't think they still make heavy metal, but tons of European comics, very adult.
Yes.
And they do clean them up for the American when they bring them up, when they published them here.
Yeah.
They block
lots of TNA.
Tons of that and the stuff and other stuff like I can't even mention what they show.
And other things.
Lots of things. And when those
shenanigans.
Instead of getting rid of those panels, they would just cover it up with a word balloon. It was really very interesting. Yeah. And I'm sure the language was changed.
Okay. Let's read some comments.
Go ahead. Whatever.
If you're in a low-budget horror movie, you make bad decisions, says John.
I guess, but not necessarily.
Not always. Some people like being in bad movies.
Plan 9 from Outer Space is a brilliant movie.
We always go back to that one.
Back to front, because it's
James Muscarla says, I saw some of Momo on YouTube. Pretty scary.
Momo's great.
Momo's fun.
Watch it all the way through. It's a brilliant movie about a guy who's kind of a horror host. He's like a show host.
Albert, I offered to buy my mom tickets for Engelbert Humperdinck. She didn't like him much after she went to one of the shows.
Huh? When?
Was it one like this year or last year?
I took MummyAndMonkey to see him earlier. Was it this year?
It was this year.
Wow,
for Mother's Day.
That's why this year's going by fast and slow.
And
yeah, it was great.
He's like 86 years old.
I had helped so many women up the stairs. It was crazy.
You could have gotten a job there as an usher.
We saw women falling. It was really sad. But before the show started, like just trying to get seated.
Trying to go up the stairs.
They're breaking their hips just trying to see this guy.
Because if Engelbert Humperdinck is 86 years old and still singing, the fans of him are up there in age also. So a lot of them were having trouble going up the stairs, and you stepped up to help them.
Don't forget, he puts the hump in Humperdinck, so it's all built in there. This is the man.
What a name.
Well, it was based on some poet from back in the way.
Oh, it's such a terrible name.
His name was like Bill Evans or something. They go, that's not gonna. They gave him some like old poet's name. From the 18th century.
Terrible. I guess that's one way to get attention.
It worked out good for him.
Humperdinck. Come on.
It worked. Both names are just ridiculous. Oh, look at this little child. We're going to name him Engelbert.
Albert says, no, it was probably in the 80s. The show was when she found out he was like a man.
Whore.
Bleeped.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. So is Tom Jones.
A lot of those dudes are.
Yeah.
But a lot of the female performers are also the female singers.
People are people. Don't
people
forget, we're both
are people. If you get money and power, people do things, I guess.
You don't even need money and power for people to do things. People are just people.
If you're a famous celeb, I guess
that just makes it harder.
Some of them do a lot of wacky things.
Well, but then it just gets thrown at you at that point. It's like, how do you Anyway,
well,
that's a different show.
Anyways, Anonymous says, wasn't the Lorelei the same name as the ocean liner a Ghost Ship?
Oh, maybe.
Brilliant movie, in my opinion.
I love Ghost Ship too.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
That
I
movie
don't remember.
is a great example. It might have been, and that would make sense. It's like a siren or something like that, right? Like of the sea. It might be because it's just something we weren't familiar with. When I looked up the movie, I found out more about it. It is based on a legend. It could have been, but Ghost Ship is a great movie. Very, as far as the contemporary movies that are made that are just like whatever, like name them. You could just pick any, but that was a very effed up movie. The beginning of that movie just messed up.
Greg says I saw Cleveland legend Daffy Dan at the Bowie show.
Oh, the tribute.
The tribute show.
Yeah, I think,
that's cool.
Yeah,
Daffy Dan's still around. There's still a shop in Lakewood. He's got, I'm sure he doesn't do as much work there.
I don't know.
Probably has a bunch of people working for him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's been mastering that thing, for a long time. But yeah, Daffy Dan, he's a Cleveland institution. And
then Juliet says Ghost Ship has the best opening kill shot.
It is, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Right now, but it's some really messed up stuff. It's a fun movie. That one I popped in a few times over the years and enjoyed it. I like that one. What's the other one? Oh my gosh, with Treat Williams, Deep something. Someone I know the star. Someone's got to know. Treat Williams, Deep Rising, I think it's called. Check that movie out.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
It sounds like an adult movie. Deep Rising, starring Peter North and Engelbert Humperdinck. I think it's called Deep Rising. It's really a good, like, oceany water monster movie. It's good.
Oh, so it's a monster one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
A monster movie.
I liked it. I really liked it when I saw it in the theaters. I thought I might hate it now, but I've seen it a few times. I thought it was pretty good.
Cool. So we've got Halloween coming up.
Yes.
We have a Halloween show premiering on Halloween night.
Monday night, 8 p.m.
Monday night at 8 p.m. So that's literally
about
Monday after next.
Like a little over a week. So we got a lot of work.
We still have to put that together.
Oh, we will. We will. Well, we got most of it. What we filmed at the zombie walk we went to. We got a lot of that.
So we got some footage there.
So it's just assembling right now and we'll be
and then closer to Thanksgiving, we've got the Ghoulardi Feast tribute show. That's going to be like a lot of Cleveland nostalgia.
So much stuff.
Like Big Chuck and Little John and all that stuff.
There is so much stuff that we have never shown before that hasn't been seen in Cleveland anyway. For decades. Just trust me on this. It's really, it's going to be fun. You got to love it.
Didn't Janet play it in a movie by the guy that did the Mothman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Momo.
Momo the Missouri Monster. Yep. I had a cameo in that.
Movie.
With the lovely Elizabeth Saint. She's a ghost, one of those like ghost hunter type of ladies. She was on a TV show and then she has her own like online channel.
But the movie is great through and through. We shot. There's some stuff we still haven't shown from that shoot because we were talking. We had that.
We were told not to show the monster until after the movie's out.
We haven't done it. We've only shown that one making of thing that we were allowed to show before the movie came out. So now we should go back and go through all that footage. I mean, we taped all day that day.
Was that a Seth Breedlove movie? Yes, that was Seth's movie.
100%. He was there.
Small Town Monsters.
He's in the shot. He's in the moment. We did I don't know if you.
It's on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, it actually is.
Actually, it's uploaded separately.
Yep, separately. Yeah, look up Momo on our channel. You'll find it. It's like a 4 or 5 minute bit.
Mark Powers. This might be a weird question, but what do you two do for food at Cinema Wasteland? I get DeBella's subs because we don't have them near me. Actually, we end up packing lunches with us.
Well, tell them what we packed up.
Well, it's
Cliff
like
bars,
sandwiches, granola bars.
Nothing good.
Nothing that great. But then when we get home, like we'll order, like drive-through stuff.
Yeah, we just save our appetite when we go, and then we like chow down. We get Chinese sometimes because we'll usually head home. Yeah,
because it's like a marathon. We really don't get time to go and take.
But in the past, like when we would stay at the hotel, we would get like Domino's pizza or whatever.
We would have pizza delivered for dinner,
or even go to the
cafe. But we would pack
there.
Food and keep it in the hotel.
We would do both. Yeah. We would do both.
We would have like sandwich stuff in the fridge at the hotel.
Yeah, but the fun thing for us now is to we would bring sandwiches so we have something to eat like during the the day part. But then save our appetite because we would come. We
and then we'll eat it. Yeah, we go home.
We'll get some good takeout or something. So we're all good. But we would nosh throughout the day with stuff we bring.
Now is the time to think about the Franklin Castle since it's going to be Halloween. Have you heard anything spooky about that place this year?
There's been stuff on Facebook I've seen.
Oh, there's stuff all over about Franklin Castle. That's a really interesting place, and it's been restored. It looks beautiful now.
Yeah. Before
it was like abandoned, and all the windows were broken out of it. It looked really run down. And I think a couple from the UK, they came over here and bought the house, and they live in part of it, from what I heard, and then they rented out some, they turned some of the parts of the house into like little apartments.
Oh, they did.
And then the bottom floor has like a little record shop or some type of record company.
Make records. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was big enough to do all that.
Yeah, it's big.
Because it's like 4 or 5 floors, and the top floor was a ballroom, and that was supposed to be the most haunted floor of the whole house.
Yeah, once they cleaned all the dead babies out of the walls, they were able to.
Yeah, and then over the years, in the walls, they found like human remains of like babies and stuff from the families that used to live there. It was like really bizarre.
You can read all that online.
There's so many stories about it. Yeah, there's so many stories about it. When we had the shop, there was a gentleman that was an author that said he lived there, and he told us all the stories are true. It is haunted.
We should take those up for the Halloween special, because we haven't played those in a long time.
Oh yeah, we did interview him.
Yep.
The video's out there somewhere.
Yeah, at the shop. Yeah.
But yeah, he was real nice to talk to, and yeah, he said that the Franklin Castle is haunted. Yep. I used to work with someone who said they lived behind the Franklin Castle, and they would see weird things out of the windows, and they would hear weird things at night.
Yep. If you look on a map, it's right next to the Franklin Mint.
No, it isn't.
Which mint? It's not?
No, it isn't.
Oh, okay, I don't know. I'm just a dumb monkey. What do I know?
Okay, let's see.
Come on, drive the show with the. If you don't like me talking, let's see what they say.
Ghost Adventures did a show there a few years ago, said Bobby. Yeah, it is very much haunted.
It's got some business going on there for sure. If it doesn't, it would have the history for it for sure. Even just the history is scary.
I went to a party there. That's the last time I saw the ghoul, says Albert.
Yeah, I would love it one time. So it was a Halloween thing.
Yeah.
We weren't invited.
Wow. Oh. I saw Halloween Ends last night with my sister, says Jennifer. It was crazy, weird, but loved it. Yeah, we've heard all mixed reviews on it.
Ups and downs, so we have to see it. We have to watch the last 2. We have not seen any of the recent ones.
There's just been...
There's so much.
There's so many.
It's always going to stab people. I'm not like excited about it.
Yeah, I'm in no real rush to see them. Like, I do love some of the Halloween movies, but those newer ones, I just wasn't really like in a hurry to go see.
He chases a guy for 2 minutes and stabs him. He chases a girl for 5 minutes and stabs her. He chases 2 guys, 2 girls, and a dog and stabs them after 10 minutes. It's like all he does is stab everybody.
We can figure out what happens.
He stabs everybody.
Yeah, but no, I mean we'll see them eventually.
I call it a stabby movie. It's but maybe it would be more interesting for me if he like had other ways of method. Like the Jason thing was like the kill of the minute. Like how he's gonna kill this one. He never killed the same person the same way. Well, he did a lot of macheting, but
Mark Powers says Halloween 2018 has an incredible long camera shot. Like I guess they had some cool like.
Okay, well now they're going for a cinematic thing.
Cinematics, yeah.
All right, but it really just comes down to a guy that goes around stabbing everybody. Yep. That's it.
That's the whole movie. That's really the whole.
I don't know that I care that much to want to. I'll watch it, but give me Season of the Witch anytime. Give me Halloween 1.
Or a bad 70s werewolf movie.
Give me Devil Bat. Devil Bat is a way more interesting premise.
Yeah.
I made bad decisions. I'll kill everybody. That's a funny thing.
But, I mean, that's just our opinion. We're not pooh-poohing other people's opinions.
I've not seen these movies yet. I'll watch them. I'm not going to sit there.
We'll see them eventually.
Yeah, I'll check them out. But if I know that it's going to be him running around just ultimately stabbing everybody.
Right.
So it's like, how's this going to end?
What's that line in the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? That's the reverse of So Little... What? Oh, he's talking about Willy Wonka. Okay.
Which one? The Tim Burton one? Or,
I don't know.
Or the Gene Wilder, the good one?
Mark says, one of my local theaters is showing a double bill of Creature from the Black Lagoon and Phantom of the Opera on the 29th. Oh, that's awesome.
Boom, boom.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's where you want to. That's why we all go back to the original source material because they thought of it first. No one had a movie about a swamp creature before until Universal did that. They took a chance.
Paul User says, have you ever heard about any graveyards that are not on the map? Example, like graveyards in somebody's backyard or old settlements in Cleveland.
We know some.
Actually, there's a whole book about it.
There's one
I think it's called like Hidden Cleveland or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we might have that somewhere.
It's called. I think it's called Hidden Cleveland.
About different. Yep. Yeah.
I went to one. This is before I knew you, with some people that it was some. You had to walk at least 1.5 miles or 2 miles.
Oh, to even get
and
over there?
It was on a hill. It was so weird. It was cool.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know if I took. I may have taken pictures. I got to dig way back, but I may have taken some photographs of this place. I couldn't even tell you where it is now, but it was out somewhere in Ohio. But it was like so far back, off the beaten path. There were no roads to it except for trails you walked to get up to the hill. But yeah, I personally been to some stuff like that. There's some stuff in Cleveland that's not. It might be on the map. But man, is it between like a garage and a pizza place? There's that one. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, there is one that.
Yeah, that's.
It looks very out of place. There's like this really small, like 1800s.
Yeah.
Tiny cemetery. Maybe you could tell it was probably like
a little village.
Part of a church at one point, and maybe the church is gone, and then they built stuff around it.
It's like a cell phone place and a vape place, and then there's this like thing in between it.
Yeah.
Set in the back, it's like a little graveyard,
Yeah, there's a lot of places like that all over.
Oh,
it's really fascinating.
Ohio, especially, was like very settled, and you just run in these places. There's a lot of stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're aware of quite a bit of that kind of stuff. And there's one close to us that we go to. It's not off the map, but it's old.
Super old.
Downtown has a lot of old.
Juliet says, John Carpenter originally wanted to do each Halloween movie completely different. Is why Season of the Witch was a really good movie, but he kind of got stuck with Michael Myers.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, that's okay.
So, we talked about that last week, I think.
Yeah, because each one was supposed to be a different, separate story.
Brilliant idea.
But with Halloween 1 and 2, they go together really nicely, and they just I like those first two together like that. And then the third one is amazing with the witches and all that craziness. But then after that, it's kind of like
It's not, in our opinion.
Yeah, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and I don't know that I've heard so much mixed reviews about the last 3 Halloween movies, so I don't know what to do. I'll go watch them before I make my. I'll see.
Right.
I would love to.
We'll see them at some point.
Yep, I would love to.
We'll play catch up with all of that.
Yeah, for sure. Why not?
But I think we're gonna wrap things up soon.
Okay.
If that's cool with you, Grim. I'm getting tired.
Do whatever you want to do.
And
we got a busy day tomorrow.
We have a very busy day tomorrow. Later today, we're gonna go visit the Sober Not Mature podcast guys, and we're gonna video some of what they do.
We'll visit a few of our friends.
Yeah, and we're gonna be visiting a few local people, and
then wake up early
and then the haunted barn tomorrow night. So
it's a big friend day tomorrow, I think.
Yeah. So okay, guys, thank you so much for chatting with us. If you like chatting movies and stuff like that, you can hit that like button. We do appreciate it. Give yourselves a hand.
Or a foot, whatever you're into.
Yeah, give yourselves a hand.
Whatever body part you're into, give yourself that.
There you go. And we'll see you next time. We'll have our podcast probably Sunday night or Monday night, and we'll keep you guys posted on social media.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight on our Hairy Scary Hangover, and we'll see you next time, alligators. Woohoo!
Bye-bye.
Do your thing, chicken wing.